a lot of my friends recently started playing League of Legends, and while they're all new, a question is always asked: how do I make this game easier to understand? There is a lot going on, and I'm not sure I can take all this information. And I always recommend them to change the settings, and it's always a journey, but they're always super happy whenever they decide to do it. So while changing some settings is not going to make you better at the game, any skill-wise, it will facilitate the information intake, and you'll be much more knowledgeable about where you are in the game and what's happening to your character. So without further ado, let's jump into it. And if I don't touch on a certain setting you're curious about, that means it's pretty much up to you, so feel free to experiment with it however you would like. So when you jump into the settings, this is the screen you're going to be presented with. And two big options are going to be here. Now, you can put your abilities, your summoner spells, your items, and your trinket on whatever keys make you comfortable. This is all about you. What I'm going to talk about is not that. So whenever you start the game, it's always going to be on normal cast, right? That means that if you click on your ability, you're not going to be able to cast it until you click, right? If I press on my ability, I'm not going to be able to cast it unless I click on myself, as well as my ultimate, right? This can be good because a lot of my friends, whenever they start playing the game, they really want to know their character's range, and that's really important to them, and that's really important to knowing the game. And while it's true, the fact that League of Legends has a lot of combo, a lot of characters that do damage really fast, means that sometimes you're just gonna die out of being too slow, or you're not gonna get a kill out of being too slow, because you need to click between each spell. It takes a long time. You think I'm kidding, but the few microseconds you spend clicking your spell is time you're not spending trying to learn what's happening to your characters. So what I recommend is playing with quick cast on all. Now this is not gonna be easy for a lot of people because you don't see any range, right? It can be really hard, right? And all of my friends didn't want to use this, but I'm gonna show you a life hack that's actually pretty good. You have this little thing here, quick cast with indicator. Replace quick cast with indicator in the quick game UI, whatever. So you press this, you press OK. It's important to press OK here. Boom. Now what that's gonna do is whenever you press the key of your spell, so let's say my Q here, whenever you press it, boom, it's gonna show you the indicator, and then you can release it, right? Whenever you press the spell, it's gonna show you the indicator, and whenever you release it, it's gonna cast it. Now, this is really good. It's still slow, right? It's still slower than just pressing the key and knowing where it's gonna go, but if you really must know the range of your spell, and if you're really learning this, you can use this. However, I would only use this if I'm trying to learn the range, and I'm using this with the knowledge I'm not gonna use it forever, right? So at some point you're gonna take it off and you're gonna have to use it like the big boys play the game. But at first, this is pretty good. Now, a few other things, I would take notes of my hotkey. The hotkeys aren't really that important to me. There are a few that need to be there though. So what are those? The targeted champion only is really important because sometimes whenever you're gonna be here, let's say there's a champion hiding behind their tower, right? You're not gonna be able to click them. I'm gonna put tower aggro on off just to show you guys, like, right? I have a really hard time clicking him, right? Like, he's hiding behind the tower, I hit him half of my shot, but if I press this, you can see I cannot attack the tower. I can only attack him, right? And whenever I let it go, I can attack the tower again. So this is really important for those situations. It's not always gonna be like this, but it's really important to have this set up somewhere comfortable, right? Teleport home is a good one. For the player movement, there are only two really important things: player attack move on A and player stop position on S. Those are gonna be very specific, right? But basically what they do is that if you attack something, right? If you're next to someone, you're just gonna attack them whenever, right? My champion is gonna attack them. And sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you want to stop moving and just finish the last hit off. This is better with minions, so I'm gonna respawn the minions. But you can just stop here and your champion will not attack. I just pressed it once, right? Hands up, I'm not attacking it. And this is that. So you're gonna see when the minion arrive, and you're gonna see why it's important. And I'm gonna have a whole video on that in a minute. Just gonna let the minion fight each other. So right here, I don't want to attack this minion because I might kill it too fast, right? So I'm gonna wait for it to drop in health, and then I'm gonna attack, right? Because if I just let go, I'm gonna attack randomly, and I'm gonna hope to luck out on attacking with the right pattern where I can just stop, chill, take a chill pill, stop, and just poop whenever they're gonna die, right? This prevents me from pushing the wave too fast, but this is all stuff I'm gonna have later on. This is just important to have those two binded. You'll understand why later on. So these are pretty much all that's important. A, S, camera control, those are all important, but honestly, if you're starting playing the game, just just don't bother too much with these, right? Also, if you press tab or O, it's gonna open this thing, right? If you press P, it's gonna open the shop. You don't need to click on the little thing here. And if you press B, you're gonna back like this. So those are the hotkeys. This is like kind of a big thing. So this was most of the videos. Now the rest I'm gonna show you guys, it's gonna be very, very easy. So the video option. Usually I'll just go with borderless here. If you go full screen, the problem might be that whenever you click off screen, like whenever I alt tab and I change my music or whatever, like let's say I'm in lane and I back, I'm like, oh shit, I'm low, I'm just gonna back, and then I alt tab and I change my stuff. If I get tower dove here, I will never see it if it's on Windows, if it's on full screen, because the game will minimize itself whenever I go out of it. On borderless, it keeps the game up, so that's really good. You want to disable screen shake. This is too much information. Your screen's gonna shake. It's not great. You can hide the eye candy. This is not really important. It's like a little critter. For the graphics, you want to turn character inkling on, and if the game feels like it's giving you a headache because there's too much colors, because there's too much going on, because the abilities are too flamboyant and fancy, you can turn the effect quality to medium or to low. Very low is going to make the game look like shit, but too low is good. Shadow quality as well. A lot of effects on the ground. You might want to take this off. This is what I do. A lot of pro players turn this like to medium and turn this off, so don't feel bad about doing it, especially if it's going to make your machine run it smoother. Frame cap. This, some people will say, is useless. You can put it on uncapped. What I feel happens when I put it on uncapped is that if my computer puts the frame rate to like between 100 and 60, and it always varies, the moment it's gonna dip from 100 to 60, you're gonna feel like your game is lagging. So you might always want to put a frame cap on. I put it at 60 because this is exactly what happens, and I feel like my game is lagging. I just put it at 60 because this way it's always consistent, and consistent is the name of the game. You want anti-aliasing and wait for vertical sync. If you need to lower your settings here to put this on, then by all means do it, because these are very important. The rest is literally up to you for the video. The sound is arguably even more important than the video, and you're gonna be like, well, I'm listening to my music, I don't care. Okay, fair point. You want to listen to your music while playing leagues, you need stimulation and whatnot, that's great and all. I'm gonna let you in on a secret, okay? Your brain interprets sound faster than what you see. That means if you hear danger in the game, your brain's gonna react faster to this than if you see danger. That means the ping and the sound effects volume need to be cranked up enough so that you can hear them. The rest, I don't care. You can turn everything down to 0. Announcer, voice, music, ambient volume, whatever. You need pings and sound effects, because your brain is going to process those sound faster than what you see. Trust me, it's really important. You need this, okay? For the interface, most people play like this. This is crazy to me. Okay, the HUD does not need to be this big. It's bigger than the Baron Pit. You can see here, like, do you need this to be this large? No. So what I'm gonna do is I turn the HUD down to 0 because I don't need to read any of this. If you need to read anything here, put it to somewhere it's comfortable, right? 40 can be comfortable for you. But same with the quick cast indicator. Do this with the knowledge that you're gonna turn it down over time. And every game, turn it down by 1 or something, right? It sounds crazy, trust me. But this is all really important because League is throwing so much information at you. You don't need useless shit like this. Trust me. The minimap, I would put it somewhat bigger. Chat scale, cursor scale, shop scale, whatever. Those should all be like somewhat low. The cursor is kind of important to see, so do it like you see. 44 is a sweet spot to me. The shop scale, 44 is this big. You don't need it to be bigger than this, right? The items are big enough for you to see, trust me. Okay? What's next? Okay. Show lots of control, show the elf bar or whatever. This is what I use. If you disable the elf bar option, I think you're a psychopath, right? You don't even see what damage they're taking, so please leave this on. This is the most important. The rest doesn't really matter, right? Elf bar animation or HUD animation is all just whatever for me. Show names above elf bar. You can have none, you can have summoner's name, or you can have champion's name, right? I go with none, and you're gonna be like, well, that doesn't matter, right? But it does. Because your brain, while you don't actively want to read what it's saying, your brain is gonna read it no matter what. Trust me. It sounds weird. Your subconscious is gonna read it no matter what. So, unless you want to see Gucci Boy 69/420 name up there, and it's really important to you to know he's there, right? I would turn this to none, or I would turn this to champion's name if you're not familiar with the skins, right? Just to know what they're doing and everything. Screen flashes on damage, I think this is going to be too much simulation, same as screen flash on loss of control. Anything else? So ability cooldown display is going to be on seconds by default all the time. This means like if I press my ult, right? It's going to be in seconds. My brain processes minutes plus seconds faster. You can see here 2 minutes, 34 seconds. And it's 160 seconds. Do whatever you like. Just make it easy for you to understand what's going on, right? The easier it is for you to understand what's going on, the more other things your brain's going to be able to understand. This is what I tell people. You want the easy part of the game to be easy, and you want the hard part of the game to use your brain power. You don't want it the other way around, right? You don't want to read the names. You don't want to do anything special. You just want this way. The rest is kind of all up to you, right? Until you get to combat text down here, still in interface. We're almost done, I promise you. This is almost done. Yes. Combat text, I would put most of these. I turn off mana because I know my mana costs and I don't really care. So damage is how much damage you're doing on every attack. So I'm just gonna... Okay, wait. I'm gonna remove the minions and I'm gonna remove the target dummies. And we're gonna go all the way here. Whoops. We're gonna go all the way here. So damage is gonna show in little text. You can see here 25 and 65. This is the damage, okay? The gold is whenever I gain gold. So let's say I go here. So you're gonna see gold over my character. Boom. Gold here. EXP was here. So that's gold and experience. Whenever you level, you want to be able to see it. Whenever the enemy damages something, you want to be able to see it. What you want to know the status of people, if they're knocked down, if they're invulnerable, if they're strong. You want to see their heals. So whenever I heal, since I don't have any damage, you don't see my heals. But this is how I've always played, and this gives you a lot of information at once. Turn on as many as you can. I would usually promote having gold, having experience, having damage, having heal, and having level all up, and enemy damage. You don't need quests, you don't need score, you don't need special, I think. And that's about that. For the game itself, changing any of this is not going to make you a better player. Attack move on cursor is the ideal. I'm gonna have another video on that coming up shortly, but this is the ideal thing, what I would do. And the last little setting I'm gonna offer you is this one. Camera lock mode. Now, I know a lot of people are not comfortable playing like this. I used to not be, and sometimes I even use this during teamfight because knowing where my champion is more useful than knowing where the enemies are, right? This, I don't care if you do this. Most people are gonna say, hey, this is bad for you. This is annoying. You can't play like this. You're never gonna climb. This is why you're bad. No, no. Challenger players play like this. Don't listen to them. It doesn't effing matter if you play with camera lock screen, okay? Like, this is fine, okay? What is not fine is that whenever you play like this, the default set is this, fixed offset. Now, I don't know if you've seen the change, but this has the character in the exact center of your screen, right? The Y and X axis are both in the center. Now, this allows you to see a lot behind you, but not so much in front of you. What pre-side offset does is it kind of like shift a little bit towards the side you should be looking at, right? So if you're on the blue team, it's gonna push you like a little bit, like you're gonna see it's gonna push you a little bit towards where your lane is, right? Boop, just a tiny bop. If you're on the red side, like if you're here, it's gonna do the same thing. This is really good because you don't need the information back here that much, right? If you're here, what do you need to see, right? You need to see this. You need to see this here, where the jungler can come. You need to see the lane, where the enemy is. You need to see bottom side, where the jungler can come. Is the enemy jungler gonna come from here? Sometimes, yes. Is it gonna be often? No. You don't really care. You need to be able to see as much as possible, and pre-side offset is the best way to do it. I have a lot of friends, and this is how I started playing it, so this is exactly what I am talking about, right? So, with that all being said, I hope you guys have a good time. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to this little video. I'm gonna have another one soon coming up talking about items, and I'm gonna have another one soon coming up talking about attack moving and how to control your character better. So I hope you guys had a good one. I hope you learned something. If you did, please subscribe, like, comment. I'm gonna have a bunch of informational video coming up. A little bit in the Day 9 daily style for StarCraft 2. I'm just gonna do it for League of Legends because while I'm not the best player out there, I did hit Diamond and I can talk to you guys a little bit because all of my friends started playing the game. I've been coaching them a lot, and yeah. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. See you and have fun.